From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Greater Toronto home sales and listings were up in February from last year, but adjusted sales were down from a month earlier. The latest figures from the region's real estate board show that sales were up 17.9% in February from last year to 5,607, or up to 12.3% when Leap Day is factored in. Board President Jennifer Pierce says population growth, a resilient economy, and the possible end of rate hikes have helped to fuel the jump. More and more financially stressed homeowners in Ontario and BC are starting to miss mortgage and credit card payments. Equifa says the alarming trend is primarily being driven by homeowners who are 36 years of age or younger. Mortgage delinquency rates across the country rose 52.3% in the fourth quarter compared with a year earlier, while delinquency rates for non-mortgage debts that are more than 90 days overdue rose by 28.9%. The BC Securities Commission says it is owed nearly $430 million in unpaid sanctions, more than a quarter of which it's unlikely to ever see. The regulator says about $130 million will likely never be recovered because the sanctioned individuals are in jail or are bankrupt, and many penalized companies have been dissolved. University of BC law professor Christy Ford says securities enforcement is important even if the penalties cannot be collected, since it serves to warn the market about bad actors and ban them from public capital markets. Joe Biden and Donald Trump are poised to move much closer to winning their party's nominations on this Super Tuesday, the biggest day of the U.S. primary campaign.
The president has handily won every contest so far. Trump has taken 7 of 8, and Kyle Kondik at the University of Virginia's Politics Center figures the domination will continue.
He may win every single contest,
which would up the pressure on challenger Nikki Haley to drop out.
What more is there to do? Because it's not like you're going to, you literally cannot defeat him at that point.
But Haley's resisted so far, saying Americans want a choice, not a coronation. GOP voter Bonnie Schultz in Minnesota wants Haley to stay in.
There needs to be somebody who's a voice of reason.
And as long as Americans want me to be that voice, I will continue to fight for them.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
And finally, Ukraine says it has sunk another Russian warship in the Black Sea. Kyiv's forces say they are utilizing high-tech sea drones as they continue to take aim at targets deep behind the war's front line. Now, the Ukrainian Military Intelligence Agency says the vessel destroyed was the large patrol ship Sergei Kotov, which can reportedly carry cruise missiles and is manned with a crew of about 60. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Calgary Flames had their NHL win streak halted at 5 games Monday night as they were on the wrong side of a 4-2 decision going to the visiting Seattle Kraken. The Flames remain 7 points behind the fourth-place Los Angeles Kings in the Pacific Division. Pavel Zacha scored twice, David Pastrnak chipped in with 3 assists, and the Boston Bruins beat the host Toronto Maple Leafs 4-1. The Bruins snapping the host's 2-game win streak and moving 8 points ahead of the third-place Leafs in the NHL's Atlantic Division standings. Jamie Cooey of the Northwest Territories rocked Shane Latimer's winless Nunavut squad 9-2 in 8 ends, moving into first place in Pool B at the Canadian Men's Curling Championship in Regina with a 4-1 record. And finally, in off-season MLB news, Zach Wheeler and the Philadelphia Phillies have agreed to a new $126 million 3-year contract. That's the 4th highest average salary in baseball history. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.